Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. State of My Sports.
Moving right along to our Detroit Lions season preview. The first year of the new regime went really about as expected. They finished 3-13-1 with wins against the Vikings, Packers, and Cardinals with a tie against the Steelers. It was a very tough start, losing 10 of the first 11 before the tie. With the tie in there, and then won 3 of their final 6 games. The change in play calling, health of Goff and offensive line, and the emergence of Amon-Ra St. Brown really helped, along with Josh Reynolds coming in, someone that Goff was comfortable with really helped the team overall. Combine that with 9 of the 17 games being decided by 1 score, it feels like a foundation was being built of a team that will not roll over and just kind of be ready to fight to the finish. You head into year 2 of this regime. Still with a lot of questions, but as Lions do, the hope of the step up is there. And here I am. I've taken that little hope that I have and turned it into almost like the gospel and finding a way to make the playoffs. That's basically what I've done. I take a little hopium and make it the real thing. It's just this. I'm not living in an alternate universe because of the hopium. This is the
I didn't
thing,
know if I didn't know if hopium was a pill or you like shoot it up or what.
I think shooting it up makes more sense. You just get just a little taste or something. I don't know. I've never done that before. But fall goes right there in the playoffs. That's basically where we're at. But,
there you go.
Did want to start out with the betting side of things, like I always like to do. To win the Super Bowl, they are plus 15,000. To win the NFC, they are plus 6,000. Win the North, they're plus 1,000. They're behind Green Bay, who's minus 175. Minnesota, who's plus 250. And then you got Chicago behind them at plus 1,500. Their over-under is set at 6.5 wins. If you like the over, you'll get minus 125. If you like the under, it is plus 105. And then they have plus 400 to make the playoffs. It's intriguing. I'm personally not going to do it because I don't really like long-term bets. I know Jarrett comes on and he really likes to play the futures and stuff. That's not really my go-to. I consider my money very valuable and want to return right away. Is kind of where I'm at. So just fun little futures there, if you will. But
money's valuable.
It has a little bit of value.
What?
Yeah. Jarrett, he says the Lions will go 6-11. We'll start 1-5. Mark my words. All right, I'm going to mark those words right now.
Mark his words.
But do I have to like it? Is that how you mark them on the Facebook?
Well, don't forget the ha-ha at the end.
Okay. So is that a joke? I don't know. All right. Anyways, we're going to...
Hang on. I got to ask you. Did you at least just put, like, $5 on them winning the Super Bowl?
No, I haven't. I would never throw away $5 like that.
No?
No, I wouldn't.
Come on, man.
Should I?
Well, why not? Like...
All right, maybe I will. I'll do it.
Just
all right, yeah,
$5.
Yeah, what would that pay out? I don't even know.
I don't know.
All right, I'll do it during our Betting Hero segment while you explain Betting Hero to our listeners.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
We're gonna get into the offensive side of the ball. Quarterback year 2 under Goff will be better than last year. Am I getting?
It's
What is that from?
It's a thunderstorm.
Is that what that is?
I don't know.
Quarterback. Oh, is your phone? Is that what it was? Year 2 under Goff will be better than last year. He finished with a 91.5 quarterback rating, with a 67.25 completion percentage and 19 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, which is really just a step back from his worst year as a Rams quarterback, other than his rookie year. The stat that everyone seems to love with Goff is that he was ranked 25th out of all quarterbacks in air yards, which was a 6.4 air yards per attempt, which is not good. Very short passes and all that kind of stuff. He had no confidence last year, little to no support with his wide receivers and tight ends for the majority of the season with injuries. And if he can find his way back to be like kind of the middle of what he was in the best year at in I guess L.A. or wherever they were before, St. Louis, as a Ram, and kind of mix that, meet in the middle between his best year and his worst year, which was last year. I think that'll be a really nice step up.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of be closer back to that number 1 overall pick. Not that I think he deserved a number 1 overall pick, but it is what it is. So $5 will pay $755. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to do that. All right,
That's it?
I'm down. That's not bad.
Really?
Yeah. You wouldn't take that? You should bet on it.
Well, no.
Why?
Because I don't believe in it.
Well, why are you making me do it then?
Because you're a fan. You're a giant fan. You're their number 1.
There's a lot of crazy fans, like face paint guys and like weird hat guys and stuff. That's not the fan I am. I'm the fan. I love the Lions. I really, really do.
There are adults that do face paint.
That blows my mind.
Very
I just don't understand how to do it.
Yee.
There's some that even wave flags and stuff. No, I'm just kidding, Jared. You know I love you, buddy. No, I think the wide receiver and tight end here that I want to get into next is a massive step up from what we saw last year with Amon-Ra St. Brown being potentially the third option. Once Jameson Williams comes back, the weapons they won't be the excuse that for Goff. If Goff can't move the ball with these weapons, we'll know a lot with them. Last year when Josh Reynolds got comfortable and St. Brown emerged, you saw a glimpse of the Goff that you assume this regime believes in.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think he's going to be great? No, but is he serviceable? Is he good enough to run the type of offense they are? I think we've seen him do it with a different team, with a different type of, you know what I mean? But it's possible, and that's what we're trying to figure out is, can he be good enough that we don't need to draft a quarterback, that we don't need to bring someone else in? All of those things are the interesting parts. But sorry, go ahead.
That's where your GM comes in, right? Building a team, not specifically around Jared Goff, but giving the team a lot of pieces and a lot of talent where talent may lack, and make up for, his I don't know, lack of quarterback ability, I guess we'll call it, right? So you want to pick up the slack with other talent around him is what you want to do. I mean, if he's not going to be your top 5 quarterback, right? I mean, maybe in his first 5 years it was questionable. Like, man, he may be an absolute dynasty type of quarterback, but at this point in the game, at this time in his career, you need to put talent around him on the defense and the offense.
We do have a comment because I was calling out people that paint their faces. So Carrie is saying, yes, as the guy who was head to toe red at the Red Wings Game 7. I was also 19 years old, so I was an adult, but I couldn't even drink yet. So I had to create my own fun instead of just consume fun, Gosh. It was one time, all right? Won't do it again. Promise you that. Unless Easton wants me to, maybe I will. But also $5 for $55 for the Packers to win it. Not worth putting money on that.
No.
St. Brown, Chark, and Reynolds are the top 3 wide receivers right now, with Khalif Raymond and Quintez Cephas as the main backups until the first-round pick, Jameson Williams, gets healthy. You also have Hawkinson as a very nice security blanket with a lot to prove here in his contract year. I really do like the way this offense, the weapons around, the depth is there. Huge upgrade, and just really like the way that it looks on paper here heading into the year. You got the O-line, who I believe can be truly elite. You got Decker at the left tackle, Jackson left guard, Ragnow center. Kramer sounds like is going to be the right guard with Vaitai out. But once Vaitai comes back, that'll make a huge difference. You also got Stenberg in there that can get in there. And then Sewell at right tackle. Very, very solid offensive line. Could very well be an elite group. But it feels like a lot of hope. It feels like a lot of on paper, and I want to see it to believe it. I do. I think a elite offensive line will make this job so much easier for the weapons. It'll be so much easier for Goff, and it'll open things up that you can really run the ball when you need to and want to, and throw that play action. Like, it makes such a big difference when you can do it. And that's, I think, that's going to be the foundation of the offense, and then everything else should come together if the offensive line can.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
A lot of high-end talent there. It really is an exciting thing for Lions fans to see that.
First week is going to be a good test.
It will be. Yeah, you got the Eagles. Eagles have a very good defensive line.
Yeah.
Very good run stop. They get pretty good pressure on the quarterback, but they're stopping the run is one of their best bets. You know, they do a great job with that.
Oh, that Jordan Davis guy? Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be
Yeah.
interested. That's going to be an argument this time next week. Is should have got Davis, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Running back room, you got Swift and Williams are clearly the 1 and 2. And when healthy, and then you got Reynolds there, who had a couple solid games last year. DeAndre Swift comes back. He played in 13 games last year. Had only 617 yards with a 4.1 average and 5 touchdowns. I actually didn't get the receiving yards on this. I should have put that on there. Jamal Williams in 13 games had 153 attempts, 601 yards for a 3.9 average and 3 touchdowns. Craig Reynolds comes back, 5 games played, only 55 attempts, 230 yards. Pretty solid 4.2. Not bad for a guy off the street. The health is so important for this running game. I think Swift could really have a nice breakout season. I personally believe in him. I know there's going to have those doubters. Can he stay healthy? Can he do this? But if you have a top 5 to 7 offensive line, the talent that Swift is, catching the ball, running the ball, so dynamic at times. We've all seen it. Man, he could have 1,000 games on the ground, or 1,000 yards on the ground, 1,000 yards in the air, and that is what this offense needs to really just let the wide receivers go. Let these guys do their job. Let Hawkinson not be your first option in a route. That's what we were dealing with when he was healthy last year.
Right.
You were designing plays for Hawkinson. That's not what you do with tight ends. Tight ends are your dump down when your first 2 or 3 options aren't there. Tight end will be. That's your safety blanket. He was used as the number 1 option when he was healthy last year. If you can make him the security blanket that Goff needs to make this thing work, this offense could. I don't think it's ever going to be high flying and be a top 5 offense by any means, but they control the ball, they can run out the clock, they can pound it, they can throw. They can put together a really nice offense, and it will only make that defense better.
Well, you look year after year when you see the top tier running backs, stop calling them running backs.
Yeah,
They're just start labeling them as athletes like they do in college, right? Stop going for that north and south runner, just running downhill type of guy. Those days are, honest to goodness, gone. You can maybe use that type of guy every here and there, rotate him in, but you need an athlete that can do everything out of the backfield. They can run the ball, they can hit the gaps that they need to, they can get around the edge, they can catch the ball out in the flat. You need to keep those guys and doing what they're doing, and Swift, keep using him the way he can be used.
Yeah, my overall thoughts on the offense. I mean, everybody knows they're the highest paid offense, right? That's what everybody talks about. And the highest paid offense shouldn't hope to be a top 15. But that's kind of where I'm setting my goal at. If you can be a top 15 offense and upgrade the defense a little bit, we'll get into the defense here soon, but a top 15 offense, if you can find your way in there in different ways, just overall good offense, that is good for me. That's what I want to see. Obviously, I'd love to see more. I would love to see a top 5, but they're not going to be that high-flying, just throw the ball over the field that everybody's ooh, fear that offense. It's more or less wow, how did they do that? Just 100 daggers just killed us slowly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely dominated the ball. What did Jarrett say about Stroud?
So he had an interesting comment. He said Stroud will go first in the draft, and Lions will trade up to get Bryce Young for the second QB, so you can have the Young Williams Bama combo.
Okay, if Stroud goes first in this draft, I don't believe that. I don't think Stroud will go first in the draft. I think Bryce Young's going to go first in this draft.
I completely agree.
Watching Stroud in that Notre Dame, he still looks like a kid. He looks very immature, and he I don't know, he looks like a deer in the headlights at times. And I don't want that. And if he's looking at a deer in the headlights in college, I can't imagine what he would look like next year.
His mechanics seem a little cumbersome.
It'll be interesting to see. I think Bryce Young is the better quarterback personally, but that's just my opinion. But
moving on.
Hopefully we don't have to get a quarterback in the draft. Previewing the defensive line, you got Charles Harris, Hutchinson on the edges with McNeil and Brockers hopefully clogging up the middle. Assume they will create pressure there. Harris coming back is huge with the injuries to Okwara brothers and Pascal. He had a career year last year with 7.5 sacks, really by himself. I mean, he didn't really have any support. It was just an ugly pass rush. It was ugly defensive line. It did not click well. But they are moving to that 4-3 base, which will be interesting to see. When teams have to worry about the other edge guy like Hutch, that's going to open things up for Charles Harris as well. I think the depth is becoming a starting depth, higher end guys, if you will.
Right.
I think is going to be nice. Obviously, with the injuries, the depth doesn't seem that exciting or comfortable right now. But when you have high end talent, you're not sending out scrubs anymore, and that's the nice thing about adding Hutch and what this is going. I think, look, they gotta create pressure organically. That's the biggest thing. So then the linebackers and corners don't get left out on islands constantly. That's really the key of this defense, and it'll make them better as a whole. Is getting true pressure, stopping the run inside the tackles. All of those things need to happen. And I think they're getting set up. They're going to be better. I like Lane McNeil. I like Brockers. I think Brockers is going to kind of have that nice bounce back year like Vaitai did last year. It didn't go well his year one in Detroit. I think this will be, he's getting more comfortable and will be back to the player that he was back in LA, if you will.
Sure.
Just getting pressure is going to be very, very important, and they're setting themselves up for that. You just got to see it happen. On the for the DBs, nice to see Okudah win the job over Will Harris. And if Okudah is a true starting corner in this league, let alone half the guy that everybody expected him to be as the number 3 overall pick, coming out of LSU, I mean, you have a solid duo there with him and Awarrior, and the depth is growing as well with Will Harris, Hughes, Lucas, and Price. Look, I'm not going to say these are world beaters or anything, but they had time last year. We learned a lot about them. They can play in this league. The depth is growing, and you got higher end guys than what we've had in the past. You got Tracy Walker coming back, bringing in Deshaun Elliott as safeties. He has 5 years of experience coming over from the Ravens. It really feels like they're starting to put together NFL starters. They're not just throwing out scrubs anymore.
Feels good, right?
It does. It really does. Now, is it going to translate? Is it going to be easy? No. I get all of those things, but
early
it's
growing
nice
pains.
to see. It's nice to see names that are deserve to be in the league and not guys that we're learning about 2 days before the game.
Right. And
then we're learning about a guy named Jonathan Smith is out there. Like, you know what I mean? Playing cornerback. Like, it's just, I don't want to learn anybody's name like we were last year. It feels like that was the game last year. It goes, who was in on this tackle? Name that Lion. Like nobody knew who they were.
All
as
you
long
hear
as they
is
stay
this.
healthy. Yeah, it's
like,
just papers like, who the F is that guy?
Oh,
No, but it's fun to see. Linebackers. I still believe it's going to be the weakest link in the defense. Malcolm Rodriguez, it sounds like, will be there, but you got Anzalone and Chris Board, who will be the core guys, and then you got Rodriguez, Barnes, and Josh Woods all competing to be those backups. It's going to be the snap count is going to be interesting. I don't care so much about the starters, anything like that. It's the snap count. Who's out there when it matters most? Why are they using Malcolm Rodriguez here? Why are they using Derek Barnes there? Why is Anzalone always on the field? Like, those things are going to be interesting. I don't like the high-end talent, but the depth is starting to come together a little bit. If Derek Barnes is a backup, that's a good problem to have. If Malcolm Rodriguez is a backup, look, I mean, as much as we all liked what we saw on Hard Knocks and in preseason games, it's still going to be a rookie linebacker. It's not easy. Derek Barnes, we saw that last year. It was not easy for him at times, but Anzalone needs to be that leader, and I hope that it really works out. And I hope Derek Barnes takes a nice step up too. Overall thoughts on the defense. Look, Campbell said it in Hard Knocks last week. He said, it looks like we got a defense, guys, and that was very interesting to hear him say, because it was against the Steelers, and they were playing that bend and not break defense, and that's good to see. But it was also ugly at times too, where it wasn't great. I don't know. They were bottom 3 in most categories last season, so I don't think they can take that big of a step up. But switching to the 4-3 front will be interesting, and added talent. I think that's another really important thing. Is when you have true talent, you'll make more plays, and that's really important. Campbell described it moving through to a 4-3 is front allows them to be more aggressive and not just kind of like hope to hit the gaps, but more or less be the ones that are creating the gaps and make the offense react to you, and you're not just reacting and hoping. Thought those were interesting words, the hope. Close your eyes and just hope that you hit the guy. That is what he thought he saw last year, and going to this base should help them kind of get more in the backfield and create havoc and make them adjust to you and not just fill the holes, you know. I think that was a very interesting way to hear it.
Right, just basically being present. I'm just here. No, you are going to get into the backfield. You are going to wreak havoc and cause damage.
Yep. It's just overall thoughts it's just a huge wait and see for me. But I just love the depth and high-end talent that's being put in front of us. And I'm not going to overreact when they lose week 1. I think this is still a work in progress. I need to keep telling myself that. It's more or less for myself, not for the people listening.
Right.
Keep our heads level-headed here and just go in and be in these football games. That's the real goal, is be in these football games and just flip a couple of those. You know, I think I said it was like 9 of 17 were one-score games. Turn half of those into wins. Don't have the extra blowout. You know what I mean? Like, that's where you can really start seeing something come together.
You don't want to see one of those where you're hosting the Jets and you just like the Sam Darnold game, right? That was 3 years ago.
Yeah, that was year 1 of Patricia.
Oh, okay, that was a while ago. Yeah. Sorry, you don't want to see that.
No, you do not.
No.
You do not. I do have a breakout player. I think it's going to be DJ Chark. I think he could explode on the scene early on and be the guy that knocks the top off the defense, that kind of gets those air yards back going before Jamal Williams comes back. I think it's a really important role for this offense to make the defense fear that from happening. And if you don't have a wide receiver that can do that, they're not going to respect it. You know, we got to see it early on that Goff can hit him. We got to see all these things, but we first of all need the wide receiver that can get downfield quickly and make those big plays.
I'm surprised you didn't go with Swift.
I had Swift at first.
Did you?
I did, and then I just didn't know if that should count. I think he had somewhat of a breakout year, and that's probably just my own, like, someone that's dialed in, I guess. You feel like he's already been on the scene, even though he probably really hasn't. I think that's actually a good one. I actually had him as my dark horse MVP. I think he could have a really good year. The 1,000-yard rushing, 1,000-yard passing or receiving, that's his goal. Okay. And I think that's where I think he could be our MVP of this season. I really do.
Well, that's fair.
When you're not looking at the unit of the offensive line. It needs to be the offensive line, but it's got to be a player, and the running backs are the ones that battle the most. Do you have somebody that stands out as like a breakout that you're interested in other than Hutch?
No, I think I'm most interested to see Jamal Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, just when he gets out there the second half or whenever he gets out there, you know, just what does he look like in the NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just intriguing to me.
I think a don't forget about player for me is Hawkinson. I think it's easy to forget about him when you bring in Jamal Williams. You got some other wide receivers everybody's all excited about. You got a really good running game, great offensive line. This guy could still become a top 5 tight end in this league. I really believe that. He has the talent. He fits the mold. He comes from this right school. This is exactly what tight ends are. And this is the year that it should happen. We should start seeing those things. If he can stay healthy, I think we're in for a really big year. And people are going to be like, who the F is this guy? You know what I mean? People are going to forgot about him in a lot of ways. Be like, dang, forgot that he was there. Forgot that he could do this.
I mean, in a way, I think sometimes the more weapons you have, the bigger years that some of those guys can have, right? I mean, half the time, if you do have numerous weapons on the offense, half the time, like I was saying, those guys can be decoys. You know, for lack of a better term, I mean, you have, so you got Swift out there, you got Chark out there, you got Hawkinson out there, then you've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then you keep throwing all of your best weapons out there on a consistent basis, you're going to see guys' numbers go through the roof. Mm-hmm. Whether it's St. Brown this year, whether it's Hawkinson another year, however it plays out. I mean, those things can happen quickly.
Yeah. So did want to get into the floor. I think the record as a floor, and this might be a little too high because I know the S can hit the fan so quickly, but I'm gonna go with a 5-12 as their floor, and cautiously saying that because obviously they could go 0-17 as well. But I'm being realistic here. I think they could have 2 division wins. Let's say they split with the Vikings and Bears. I don't think that's unreasonable. They'd probably get swept by the Vikings and maybe beat the Bears twice. That's reasonable as well. So let's just say with 2 division wins and then 3 more between the Seattle, Giants, Jets, Jags game, and then maybe you'd throw another one in there as a fifth. 3 of those 5, I think, you know what I mean? Like, that's where I came up with my 5. Do you think that's fair? Or does that, like, I know the Lions' 5 wins as a floor seems very high, but it seems reasonable when you look at the schedule, right? Would you go? You would go a little lower?
No, I wouldn't, honestly. I mean, you look at Seattle's a freaking disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Giants, you don't know what you have in the Giants. I think they're a much better coach team. You know, I just don't know if they have the talent to keep up. Jets, huge question mark, you know. So both New York teams, I have no idea. Jags, I think they're going to be bad. I think your floor is just fine, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
So,
for their ceiling, I went a little conservative here. Obviously, I could go complete hopium and kind of put the pedal to the metal here and get all these wins, but I'm going to go with 10. I just don't see how they get more than that. I think realistic, you split the first 2. You lose the third. You just kind of, if you can go, 50 or 500 through the first 4 games, and then you go into New England in week 5 with something to prove, and kind of like that could be a key game to see which way this season's going to go. But 10 is kind of my max. I don't think they beat the Packers. Let's say you sweep the Bears, beat the Vikings once at home. Like, then you can start seeing these games kind of coming together.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you got Dallas. You got
you got to go to Dallas.
Green Bay twice, right? You got Carolina, which I'm sorry, I'm high on Carolina. I'm gonna give them.
Are you really?
I am. I think they're gonna surprise them. I'm a big Baker Mayfield guy though. So you got Buffalo coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 losses. Like that I personally can almost guarantee. That's not even getting into the, let's say, the away loss at Minnesota, and I mean there's other losses on there. I think 10 is a fair ceiling.
I will give you that. Actually, going to Minnesota is a little difficult.
It is. That's tough for anybody.
They're all about their purple. They love their purple. They purple people out. They eat people. Purple people eaters. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, yeah, I can see where you got your 10 and 7. I think that's fair. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe you have. Give or take one from your 10, depending on how things fall. But, I mean, I guess the way I would see it is 10's fair. If you have a couple key injuries, halfway through the year or what have you, yeah, maybe you fall to that 9. And if you guys stay extra healthy, maybe you get another win or 2. I don't know.
No, I think that's definitely fair. My personal prediction is I'm fighting between 8 and 9 wins. I'm going to go with the 8.
Sure.
Because I'm going to play that cautious game. 8 and 9 season feels realistic, but there's going to be that. I feel like that's where they're going to be, is between 8 and 9 wins, and it's going to come down to maybe they'll throw a tie in there. It'll be 8 and 1. It'll be 500 across the board. I don't know. Seems like that could very well happen, right?
We got to stop with the ties in the NFL.
Yeah, right.
Stop tying. It's ridiculous.
How does that still happen?
I cannot freaking tell you.
They need to get that figured out.
Just stop.
Brutal. So my iPad did finally get charged.
Hey, how about that?
So I did want to use it for our schedule game music.
Let's do it.
All right, so let me find my cord here. Talks amongst yourselves.
So, listen, I think anyone who's got Buffalo scheduled is looking at themselves going, okay, how do we get through this game?
Everybody that plays the schedule game has their loss.
Okay, bring me up to speed, because I can't remember exactly how it has gone the last couple seasons with kind of like the juggernaut team on the schedule. Kansas City, kept it close, right?
Yeah, it was a really good game a couple years ago with Stafford. Absolutely. Lions should have won that. They were the better team that day.
Okay.
And they kind of got screwed in a lot of ways.
Kept that close. You kept Arizona close last year.
Beat Arizona last year.
Beat Arizona. There was another game that you kept close that was a really good team.
Ravens. It was pretty early on in the year.
Yeah.
Tied the Steelers. Beat the Cardinals, like we said. Beat the Packers. I don't know. I don't have it in front of me, but they've been known to do that. They keep their tough games close. But look, Buffalo on Thanksgiving, they're going to be having a grand old time. It's going to be one of those games. They're going to dominate us, unless crazy things could happen. But I don't know. I don't have very high hopes for that game. Let's just say the least. But I did. So yeah. I want to get into our schedule game here. I'm gonna play some music though. Can I play some music for this?
Do it.
All right. Let's see if I got it going here. A little prime music. Is that what it's called? NFL
Prime time.
Prime time.
Dion.
All right. So it's just me and you. So
that's fine. I got tiny decisions
fun
coming up.
Stuff here. All right. So week 1, playing our schedule game here, the official schedule game of State of My Sports here for the Detroit Lions. Week 1, the Lions are home against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm gonna go with a loss.
I'm gonna go with a loss also.
All right. So that's a big L. Sorry. Let me just do this, and then we'll be good to go. Washington, second week, they're hosting Washington. That's where I feel one of those two they're going to steal. I'm going to go with the Washington game. They're home against Washington. What?
It's a W, see?
Oh, that's a big W? You got a W?
Well, yeah, right
I got to
there.
win. You got to win?
Yeah, there's a W.
I see that. The football team. Are
yeah.
they still the football team, or what are they? They're the Commanders now, right?
No one cares.
All right, week 3, they are at Minnesota. I have a loss.
Loss.
Week 4, they host Seattle. I have a win.
Win.
All right, so 2-2 through 4.
And you go to visit
Then
your
we go
ex-coach.
to New England, the Matt Patricia-led offense. Look, this is all jokes aside. This game is very interesting to me. I'm going to give them the win. I know it's probably silly because it's Bill Belichick, but I just don't trust that offense.
You're giving who the win? Who's them?
Lions.
Okay, you're giving
the
the
Lions
the win.
What are you doing? Is this a good spinner?
I'll give him the win.
You're gonna give it? Oh,
I'll give him the win. I think Matt Patricia is just gonna sabotage his offense. Honestly,
yeah, probably.
Just
week 6 they have a bye week. Week 7 they are in Dallas. I have a loss.
I think that's a loss.
Alrighty. Week 8 they play home against Miami. I think we're gonna. I feel like I'm gonna say loss, but I feel like I can change that after week 2. Because I will know more about Miami. I'm more interested to see how Miami is going to work, let alone the Lions. I'm going to start with a loss, but I would love it if you did win and we could do a coin flip, but that's up to you.
Okay, let's do a coin
flip.
flip.
I mean, you don't have to.
No,
You seemed hesitant to give a loss, so maybe I should be the one that gives a win.
No, I like the talent. I mean, listen, do I think Tua is just the cat's meow? No, but Tyreek is still there, and he's still fast and still exhilarating.
Yeah.
So
you're gonna give him a win though. So let's flip a coin here. Win or loss? Win. Wow. Oh boy. This is gonna get out of hand. All right. Hosting Green Bay in week 9. I got a loss.
I'm gonna go with a loss too.
All right. Week 10. They're at Chicago. I personally have a win here. I think Chicago's really bad. I know going to Chicago is never easy, especially for the Lions, but I think it's possible. What do you got?
I'll give the Lions a win.
Yeah?
Yep.
All right. That means another win for the Lions. At New York Giants, I got a win.
Win.
Hosting Buffalo on Thanksgiving, I got a loss.
That is a loss.
Then they host Jacksonville.
Who's gonna be the better edge rusher that day?
I think the Lions got the win there, personally. I want to see it to believe it with Jacksonville just as much as I want to see it to believe it for Detroit.
Wow, who's their coach?
I got to win.
Peterson?
Yeah, Doug Peterson. What do you got?
I'll give you a win.
Yeah? Don't want to spin it. You don't want to let the wheel decide?
No, I'm good with it.
All right. Then they host Minnesota. Now, basically how this is rolling, I would probably say loss now, but I originally had a win. I think it's a good split with them. You split with Minnesota. That's where I'm at. So I'm going to give them the Lions the win.
I'm going to give them a loss.
All right, so we got to spin the wheel. It's another win.
Cha-ching.
Oh, boy. This is playoffs, guys. This is not good for my pants. Here we go.
Shoot them up.
Week 15 there at New York Jets.
I just don't believe in the Jets.
I don't believe in the Jets either. I got a win for the Lions. You as well?
Correct.
All right. You got at Carolina. I got a loss. Christmas Eve, Saturday. Christmas Eve.
Dude, if Baker's playing and he's playing for a playoff spot,
there's no chance the Lions win this game, right?
No.
Even though the Lions will be right there for the playoff spot, right? Week 17, they host Chicago. I got another win.
Win.
Oh, wait, did we need to spin the wheel? Oh, no, sorry. That's a loss, and that's a win.
Don't make me spin the wheel.
And then at Green Bay, obviously things can change. You got week 17 or 18. Are they playing for something? On paper right here right now, I'm going to say the Lions lose this game. Is where I'm at.
I think it's hard for me to see that Lions team go into Green Bay in the snow and win. I'm going to say a loss.
All right. That's a loss. All right. So I'm going to tally it up here. You ready for this?
Drum roll. Don't count into the mic.
How many games are there total now? 17?
Correct.
So the Detroit Lions record is in. The Detroit Lions win 5 of their last 6 games to make the playoffs, I'm assuming, with an 11-6 record.
Hey.
Yeah. I freaking hope so.
I told you it was a give and take. You could end up with 11.
He gives, I take. Or I take.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Go with that.
That was fun. That makes me really excited.
Well done.